Hey, what's going on, guys? Last video we've ended up gathering the list of Austrian based postal codes, and here is the file containing all of them basically over here. And now I hope this would be slightly a bit more clear why exactly we needed to have this kind of list. So if you just copy, let's say, the very first one, postal code, and go to this willhaben.at slash blah 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 immobilien, this kind of site where I'm supposed to be scraping real estate properties from for my current ongoing web scraping, real world web scraping project for one of my clients. So if I just paste this kind of postal code here, you see like it does some sort of an auto-completion, which in its own turn allows us to assume that we are dealing with some sort of API. So just inspect this element to invoke the developer tools, and then go into the network tab, and then just basically paste this kind of postal code again. We see that we've done the HTTP GET request to some sort of API, and if we have a look at the response, then well, it's better have it over here. So we have like area ID, province area ID, which is later on would be called like parent ID or something, I'm not sure. And also the label is available here, so the label is actually is probably something that appears just right over here, so this is supposed to be the label. But in any case, our goal, at least in this video, is actually to scrape all the possible area IDs for every single kind of postal code we have in order later on to use this. So please consider this kind of ID, right? So 117223 and province area 900. So well, unfortunately there is not much properties, but still, if we have the generated URL, well, probably as far as it's empty, it doesn't kind of show that much. But okay, let's try this one. I just want to show you what I mean by saying this. So let's try to consider some where we have actually at least a couple of properties. So here is already another code, so 113583, and location and province area is 5. So if we just try to look for this guys and open link in the new tab, then have a look at the URL. Okay. Oh, probably it has to be done in the same page. Yeah. So here you see like we have the area ID with exactly the same code we just scraped. We didn't yet scrape it, but we obtained from the API call, and also this parent area ID, what is known here as province area ID. So it's also available like equals to 5. So we need these two kind of numbers in order to generate this kind of links, in order to later on to crawl through all the possible links to the particular real estate properties at willhaben.at. So let's actually start writing some code. So I'll be using Scrapy framework because we're gonna be making really lots of HTTP requests this time, and we'll be getting this like data in return, and eventually we would like to store this as a JSON file to feed that JSON file later on to this to the actual scraper that hopefully I would be implementing in the next video. So if you're interested, let's actually start writing some code. So first let me draft the initial headers. So I just say like script to scrape location ID, and let's call this well, maybe like area ID from willhaben.at. So did I actually write this correctly? Willhaben, yeah. So here, yeah, I really like this pretty fine stuff here. So I can say like by, yeah, probably like this better. which is reference to my own self. Okay, so like this. Okay, some sort of a signature, right, to actually, yeah, identify the code later on. Okay, so the very first thing to consider, we need to import some packages, and we need to import Scrapy itself, and then from scrapy.crawler we need to import crawler process. And please know that I'm not using those complicated Scrapy project structures like you can create it using the Scrapy shop, because I really prefer the minimalist approach as far in those cases when it's really quite pretty enough basically. So but obviously I go for this approach even with the larger projects, which fits my personal needs perfectly fine at this moment. Okay, also we need to import JSON to print the response that we'll get. Okay, so now let's call the scraper class. So how am I supposed to call? So let's say we'll have a location ID class. So class will haben. Is this 1B there? Yeah, 1B. Location. It would inherit from the scrapy.spider, which is the general purpose Scrapy spider crawler. So we need to provide the scraper or spider, call it however you want, spider name, and name would be equal, let's call this simply willhaben. Probably pronouncing this word completely wrong, but I'm really sorry for this. So now I need to provide, I guess, the base URL to crawl, and in order to obtain that one, let me just try to not sure what exactly I need there. Okay, let me just paste something. Okay, this one, headers. So the difference would be in this term. Okay, so still I can grab the entire part here and copy and define the base URL that would be equals to URL equals to, and now we just I want to get rid of these guys because it's already the parameters, and yeah, let's specify the string query parameters, and I call this variable params. This would be a type of Python dictionary, and we say source would be equal to desktop and term, and this would be empty at the moment because yeah, we'll be altering this within the loop basically. So also we need to import the URL lib to actually encode these parameters to the as the string query parameters, basically just as the way they were kind of available over in here. Okay, so before actually proceeding, I would probably like to define the main driver here. So I say if name equals to main. Well, in this case we actually want to run our scraper, and we need to create the process variable that would be the instance of the crawler process, and then say process dot crawl, and we use this willhaben location class as the parameter. So finally we need to say process dot start to actually start our scraper, and now I already can open the terminal in the current working directory, and by simply typing python 3 postcodes.py, just trying to invoke what? Oh my god, python 3, and here is our scraper. Okay. This is a bit weird, so hold on a sec. Okay, so yeah, just forgot to save the file. Sorry for that, guys. So now we got our scraper kind of working. So let me think. Yeah, I guess it's time already to provide the what is known as crawler's entry point. So there is a standard method called dev start requests, which is the method from the Scrapy spider, which is the general purpose Scrapy spider we're inheriting from within our willhaben location scraper class. So it will take only the self instance, and that's kind of it. And here, actually, before proceeding, we need to upload this Austrian postcodes, the postcodes from this Austrian postcodes.txt data. So, well, obviously, you know, like a slightly more professional way of doing things would be actually do this within the constructor initializer. So, if we just say here, so like here we need to init constructor class and say def init, and it would take only the self instance in our case. So here we can simply say like so we need to open file, maybe just open postcodes file, and say simply with open and Austrian postcodes.txt, and we want to read the file stream as file. For that we need to actually create a content, so postcodes content, so content would be the type of empty string for a while, and here we say for line in f.read and content plus equals line. So we've just initialized our content, and now we need to init our postcodes, and here we can simply say content would be equal content.split by the new line, and let's just try to print our content to make sure that we got exactly what we need there. Okay, and so here it is basically. So okay, 989873. Okay, so we don't need the very last one, so we can simply say okay. Also, let's filter. Oh, maybe just, yeah, we can do this easier, like list filter none, and make it like this. So don't look at this error, that's because we're not crawling anything yet within the start request method. So okay, now this is just fine on the very first 1010, perfect. So also we need to make this one kind of global, so we can define the postcodes list here and say postcodes would be equal, let's say, empty list, and so here we can simply say actually self.postcodes would be equal to what we've just extracted from the file. And here within the start request we can actually loop over postcodes and say for postcode in postcodes, in self postcodes, and so we will need to do the following thing here. So this term should be equal to our postcode, and then we need to formulate the URL. So let's say next postcode URL, it would be equal self dot base URL plus, okay, before that we need to init string query parameters. So we say self.params, and we're referencing the term key here. So the term key would be equal to postcode. Yeah, I guess this should work just nice. And here we need to generate next postcode URL. Okay, and here we're using url_lib.parse.url encode, and we are encoding our self.params. And before actually making any requests, I just want to make sure we got exactly the correct URL to crawl. So let's print our next postcode, and just to make sure that it's what we need basically. So okay, for some reason it doesn't have the base URL. Okay, now it does. Okay, yeah, perfect. So now let's consider whatever link and try to copy this and actually try to make a request there. Okay, so here is our response, basically exactly what we need right over in here. So now we need to kind of define what exactly in particular do we actually need here to be scraped. Well, I guess the label, entries, right? But hold on a sec, I'm just wondering why it's kind of different. So this is this Dobrich. So all this guy is kind of different. Well, probably they are, but I guess we'll need all of them. So okay, so it's better actually to start writing some code. So over in here we actually need to make just crawl next postcode URL, and here we can simply return scrapy.request, and the parameters will be as follows. So the URL would be equal to the next postcode, and well, we could have also provide the user agent. I guess that would be nice basically. So let's consider the user agent as well. I just copy this one, and here I say custom let's call this headers. So headers would be equal to it would be the type of Python dictionary, and here I just paste my user agent, and here I can say like headers would be equal to self.headers, and finally callback function, because you know, like Scrapy uses the twisted internet library to make asynchronous HTTP GET and whatever requests basically. So let's call this self.parse, this which would be the callback function. And the very last thing but not least is actually to implement this parse response method here. So I can simply say like def parse, and this method would take the self instance followed by the response object. And here let's actually just simply try and print our response, but I want to say json.dumps to print the response to make it visually better seen what exactly we need to take out of there. So response.text and indentation equals to 2 spaces, and also I want to break after crawling the verb first link just to avoid torturing request object is not iterable. What? Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry, just obviously, yeah, we need to yield this instead of return. And here, instead of dumping this guy, we first need to use JSON.loads to actually parse. Well, okay, let's go just step by step here. So first we need to parse response, and we say like, let's say this data would be equal to JSON.loads and response.text, and here just to preprint this data we could make it like this. Okay, so let's have a look what we got. Okay, and so we are looking for the very first element as far as this is the list and the entries, so copy this one. So yeah, just data, so the very first element, and we want these entries. Okay, let's have a look again. Okay, and this is the list as well, so we need to append all the possible area IDs and this province area ID and label, so we need to look over this. So here we actually need to extract location ID data, and let's call this simply location locations currently, because this would be list, so paste. And finally we need to look over locations, right? So for location in locations, so we're looking over this list of dictionaries here, and first let's try to print the location for each one. So okay, now we got Python dictionary type, and this one can already be stored as the output. So if I just provide some custom settings here, so I just say custom settings equals, and here I can simply say feed format, and this would be equal to JSON, because it's more appropriate for my goals regarding the scraper in the next step basically. And also feed URI, let's call this postcodes.json. Okay, now let me just try to run this one more time just to make sure that the output works. Okay, it doesn't for some reason. Let's check that out. Why exactly? Oh, that's because I didn't yield that yet. So here, instead of printing this stuff, it's just enough to yield location, and this would be stored. So I just simply say write location to output file, JSON file. Okay, so okay, just hold on, guys. Okay, so let's gonna try this one more time and see if something has changed. Okay, so perfect. Now we got this area ID with the area ID and province area ID being extracted. Well, we don't really probably need this label, but I don't know. So if it just would be if I would like to print the postcode in the debugging information regarding the scraper, well, I'm not sure if so just to crawl this is literally enough, but probably I'm just thinking maybe I should have added a couple more. Oh, there is, so yeah, this label is just literally enough, so I could have used this label as well. Okay, perfect. So the very last thing to consider is just probably to get rid of this break statement, and I want to delete the postcodes to not append to what already exists there because Scrapy just appends by default. And okay, now hold my breath and try to run the entire script, so hopefully to scrape all the possible so 200 responses is just really nice. Trying to scrape all the possible area IDs. Well, this was pretty fast, which is really nice. So let's have a look at the postcode JSON. Okay, now we got really lots of area IDs over here. Perfect. This province area is in many cases the same. Okay, we got our stuff like the initial postcode we've been crawling through, and wow, it's pretty lots of data here. So well, I really like this stuff, so it really goes probably through all the possible postcodes available. So this is it, guys, for this video at least. So the next video we can already kind of make use of this area ID and province area ID to generate the links to crawl the real estate properties from willhaben.at. So hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, and take care.